Hello and welcome to the Paycom Center here in the heart of Oklahoma. It's the site of the Indiana Pacers doing it once again. 111-110 is your final. We'll get to how we got there, but man, oh man, the Pacers are leading this series, Eli, 1-0, and they come back and have their only lead of the game with 0.3 seconds to go thanks to Tyrese Haliburton doing it once again.
For the fourth time in each series. It's just one of those things where you continue to sort of, like, doubt sort of keeps creeping in because you know they've had these incredible comebacks, and then they just do it again. And it's like, it gets to a point to where it feels, it's like if Tyrese Haliburton's, biggest fan was 5 years old, and he was like, here's how the Pacers are going to win an NBA Finals. And he writes it down in every series. Haliburton hits a game-winning shot. And, it's just one of those things you can't really put your total mindset into it because of how it unfolds. But here we are once again, though, man. It's recycled.
It's storybook stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's one game, but to win in this environment, one of the best environments I've ever been in, maybe the best. I mean, It was so loud, it was deafening, and really, as a part of resetting this game here, the Pacers, it took them a minute to settle in. I mean, they played as poorly as they've played this entire postseason, as poorly as you could play to start an NBA Finals series. There's no question about it. 19 first-half turnovers, went into the halftime break down 12, I believe, 57-45, and in the second half, just steadily getting back into the game. Just 6 turnovers in that second half. Nothing crazy, but just hanging around. And if they have it within 10 down the stretch, you think there's a chance. Until that clock hits triple zeros, you are not counting the Pacers out. No Pacer had over 20 points in this game, 6 of them in double figures. They ended the game, 46% from deep, 47% from the field. If you would have told me that, I would have maybe thought that was a little bit lower, but this team just finds a way. They do not quit. Rick Carlisle, I don't know what he said at halftime, but he's been a part of 6 NBA Finals. Clearly his leadership shining through in this first game of this series, and the Pacers get it done. Nembhard, huge shots down the stretch. Nesmith, huge shots down the stretch. Siakam, just steady Eddie. And, every time that, the Pacers went small a lot during that game, the Thunder didn't start Hartenstein. That was a late move there, but Rick Carlisle just answered everything. And Tyrese Haliburton with a mid-range J with 0.3 seconds left. Eli, what was your takeaway from that fourth quarter there, just as it just kept getting closer and closer?
It was, it all happened so quickly because we were both on the move within the building. So we're not sitting down up above watching everything unfold. We're rushing because I got to be in the locker room for interviews. You had to do a live shot at the top of the show.
That is correct.
So we were watching on screen. I don't even know if you were because you were doing your live shot.
We left. The Pacers were down 8. And by the time we got up and they said go for live, Pacers down 1 with 20 seconds left. We got done with the live shot, Pacers up 1, 0.3 seconds left. Don't know how it happened.
Insane. And so I was back in the tunnel to where the Pacers walk off, and there's a TV up there, and there's all of us media photographers sitting there getting ready. And then we see that last possession come down. Nesmith gets that rebound. Haliburton has the ball. You hear it go up, and then you just hear the Pacers staff in the locker room going nuts.
That's awesome.
You hear the arena not do anything because you heard roars when it felt like the Thunder were going to just put this game away in the end.
And they were roars.
And they were
roars.
Super loud. So then once it's quiet, and then they're walking off the floor, and then it's been every single time they get a win, it's just one. Just one.
Fourth time Tyrese Haliburton has done this. You think he's overrated? He is not. Let's settle the score. Tyrese Haliburton, not overrated. Unbelievable. 14 points in this game, the biggest 2 points of the game. This was awesome. There's no other way to say it. The Pacers have a 1-0 series lead, 111-110, your final here from Oklahoma City, the Paycom Center. Catch up with all the Pacers after this one as they try to make sense of an absolutely awesome Game 1.
Just had to hang in. The first half was rough. 19 turnovers. The good thing was it was only 9 points. And so, we were within reach of still being in the game. I think we won the third quarter by 3, which was progress. And then, they went up 15. And we just said, hey, let's just keep chipping away at the rock, Got to keep pounding the rock, and just chip away and hang in. And we've had a lot of experience in these kinds of games. And our guys have a real good feel for what it's all about, giving ourselves a chance, and we got fortunate, but made plays.
Right here in the front.
Scott Agnes, Fieldhouse Files. Rick, take us through kind of the locker room after the game, the message, because you want to enjoy it, but you also quickly have to move on to the next one.
Yeah, we haven't been celebrating a whole lot with anything, really, and that's some of that is our experience last year. Some of it is Pascal having been through this kind of a run and getting to the finals before. We know we have a lot of work to do. And we have to play a lot better. I mean, 19 turnovers and a half is, if it's not a record for the finals, it's got to be up there, close to it. And so, and they're a menace, defensively. And we too often took it into crowds, and then other times they just take the ball out of your hands. I mean, it's just the level of their defense is crazy good. So. But to answer your question, a real even temper after the game, and now there's two days between the first two games. Instead of a 13-day series, which we had with New York, this is day one of 17 days. So this is going to be a long journey and a lot going on, and so we're just going to have to keep our eye on the ball and keep focusing on one another.
Steve, right here in the front.
Rick, besides taking better care of the basketball, what went on in the locker room at halftime? It seemed like you guys might have figured something out or wanted to approach things differently than that first half.
Well, there were different areas. I mean, they were getting to the rim a lot in the first half. The turnovers were the first thing that we talked about. It seemed like we were doing a good job on the boards, but they had 20 more shots than we did in the first half. And so, that was really fool's gold too. And so, look, it was just, hit the reset button. Let's go whistle to whistle in the third quarter, try to chip away at it and try to hang in.
Mark here right in the front of the right.
I know you're being cool, hand Luke right now and all that, but at any point did you say, damn, that was a hell of a comeback?
No. Listen, been through too much of this, over the years, and we've just got to be very much present in the moment and understand what this is all about. This is all about keeping poise, and at the same time having a high level of aggression, and those two forces fly in the face of each other a bit. And look, this arena is madness. I mean, I don't know. From a road perspective, the decibels were insane. And so, it's, there's a lot going on. Grateful to have the chance to hang in and give ourselves a chance at the end. But now we've got to, keep our eye on the ball.
Over here on the right.
Rick, Nembhard's play the last few minutes, not just the shots, but the defense. What was he able to do to kind of keep you guys connected and give you guys a chance to take it at the end?
Well, he made big plays at both ends. The one stop on Shea at the end was a big play, and then we got the rebound. There was the step back three, which was a big momentum play. I think it went from 6 to 3. And then there was an and one where we got to the rim. I don't know what point it was in the fourth, but a lot of big plays, and you got to have playmakers against Oklahoma City. I mean, they just they make it so difficult defensively.
Right here on the right.
Rick, it looked like during that review, the Siakam out of bounds review, the guys were huddling up right before the ruling came down. I'm going to assume that you kind of gave them directive on how to play the next possession if it didn't go in your favor. How comfortable were you in not calling a timeout in that situation and letting Tyrese just go spread floor? Yeah, that's very. I mean, we talked about it. We still didn't know the outcome of the challenge yet, but we said if it is their ball, let's get the stop. There's going to be a difference in the shot clock and the game clock. And if we get a stop and get the rebound, we're going to go.
we're going to go, and hopefully get the ball in Tyrese's hands and look to make a play. So all that worked out. I mean, the Nembhard play to stay in front of Shea was a huge play. I think I don't know if Neesmith or Obi got the rebound. I haven't looked at it yet, but we were able to get the ball into Ty's hands, and he made the shot.
Middle row on the left, Joe.
Hey, Rick. Joe Varden, The Athletic. After game one in New York, Tyrese told this cool story about you guys would put the ball in his hands, and he was younger, and you guys weren't very good to work on maybe one day being in these kinds of moments. And now that it's worked out, not just once, not just twice, but 3 times in the end of these playoff games where he wins it with the shot, what's it like for you to watch him at the end of these games, just sort of knowing the investments that you guys made years ago?
Well, getting to this point is a long process, and you make a trade for a player like that 3.5 years ago, whatever it was. You look at the present, but you look toward the future, and the hope was that we could build quickly. Kevin and Chad did a great job with surrounding Ty with the right guys, and then getting Pascal last year was reverential for our team, and we just try to get the ball in his hands as much as possible in those situations. And when it doesn't happen, we've got Nembhard and we've got Pascal, and that gives us 3 playmakers, in our closing group. So, all 3 of them do great things. So we were very fortunate tonight, but we did a lot of things to give ourselves a chance, and that was very good.
All right, last question here on the right.
Hey, Rick, Valencia King, Real Talk Sports. Appreciate your time. One of the pillars you've said this team is built on is tenacity. From a coach's perspective, does it rejuvenate your coaching energy when you see this team continue to be resilient night in and night out?
My coaching energy is fine. But look, it's a group I love. It's a group that we've invested a lot in. How we were going to draft, who we were going to draft, development. This year especially is a year that I'm proud of from a coaching perspective, because not only did we win enough games to get into the top 4, but we're still developing players. Walker played 1,100 or 1,200 minutes. Mathurin played over 2,000, started 48 games. And look, Oklahoma City's doing it before everybody's eyes. They've been a development machine here over the last 5 years since Mark's been the coach. So, from those perspectives, this series is it has a lot of intrigue and should for the fans.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, we'll start with Malika here on the right.
Hi, Tyrese, all the way in the back. Malika Andrews, ESPN. The only lead change of the entire game was your game winner, and they say 1 time is luck, 2 times is a habit, 3 times it's the truth. So what's the 4th time that you're able to take control of a game like that in the NBA Finals?
I don't know. I think we're just a really resilient group. We just do a great job of just sticking in and just settling into the game. And through the course of the game, it kept getting, it felt like it could get ugly. It could, who knows where this game is heading. I thought we did a great job of just walking them down. When it gets to 15, you can panic, or you can talk about how do we get it to 10, how do we get it to 5, and from there. So, I think all series, that's what we've preached as a group is, when we get down big, let's just find a way to incrementally get it down. And it was at 15, and we got it to 8 pretty fast, and that gave us confidence. We kept getting stops, Miles and Andrew made big play after big play down the stretch. Miles got a wide open look on the wing, missed that one, but we just stuck with it. Andrew was huge down the stretch, and we got a big stop there, and they got a lot of confidence in me to make that shot. So I don't know what you say about it. I just know that this group is a resilient group, and we don't give up till it's 0 on the clock. I had a pretty good idea. Yeah.
Over here on the right.
Tyrese, Rick mentioned that you guys huddled up during the
challenge there and just basically said, we get a stop here, we're going to go. Just one, how much confidence and faith do you have in those situations to not necessarily need a timeout to stop? And then was that a spot on the floor that you sort of were trying to get to? We normally kind of see you go to that middle of the floor, little lane there.
Yeah, I think our conversation was more of a hypothetical because we thought Pascal got fouled there. I was surprised there wasn't a call there. We didn't really know, with time on the clock, we saw a reset to 14 rather than a full shot clock. So at first we were talking about, do we trap twice and foul? And then we said, okay, there's difference on the clock. Let's just be solid, get a stop, and then rebound and run. And, Obi came up with it. I don't even know who came up with the rebound. I just know the ball ended up in Obi's hands, and then he passed it to me. So I thought we just did a great job of sticking with it and just, staying solid. In that situation, we had a couple dumb fouls. I had a couple dumb fouls there late in the fourth, sent him to the free throw line. But we just, showed our chest. We're solid. Had to get a big rebound there. That's a big rebound, especially with the guys on the court they have with Dort and Caruso crashing the glass. And, we got the rebound and just made a play on the offensive side. So, I'm obviously confident in my ability and feel like if I can get to, that spot, I feel very comfortable in there. It's a shot I've worked on a million times, and I'll work on a million times more. So, we just have confidence in that shot.
First row on the left.
Ty, you guys turn it over 25 times. Shea goes for 38. This team is 36-1 in this building with a 15-point lead this year. Like, this is not the formula to win a game. And then some guys don't have these moments once in a lifetime. You've had 4 in 6 weeks. What is the secret sauce? Where is this coming from this group? And you can say you believe, and obviously you do, but it seems like the belief is much higher in this group than it is in probably a lot of other groups over the last few years.
Yeah, it's a great question. The secret sauce today was these, but no, I'm just playing. But I think as a group, like I've said many times, after you have a run like last year, and then you get swept in the Eastern Conference Finals, and all the conversation is about is how you don't belong there, and how you lucked out to get there, and that it was a fluke. Guys are going to be pissed off. We're going to spend the summer pissed off. And then you come into the year with all the talk around how it was a fluke. You have an unsuccessful first couple months, and now that's easy for everybody to clown you and talk about you in a negative way. And I think as a group, we take everything personal. Like as a group, it's not just me, it's everybody. I feel like that's the DNA of this group. And that's not just me, that's our coaching staff does a great job of making us aware of what's being said. Us as players, we talk about it in the locker room, we talk about it on the plane. We're a young team, so we probably spend more time on social media than we should. But I just think we do a great job of taking things personal. And that gives this group more confidence, and we turned things around in January, which you guys know, and we just stuck with it. And I'm really proud of this group, and we just all got each other's back at every point. Any negative thing that's said about anybody, we got full belief in each other. And so the more that's talked about, like right now we're whatever underdog, that gives us more confidence as a group. We enjoy that, but there's still a lot of work to be done. This is an exciting time. Again, another big comeback, but there's a lot more work to do. That's just one game, and this is the best team in the NBA. And like you said, they don't lose often, so we expect them to respond. And we got to be prepared for that. We got a couple of days to watch film, see where we can get better. This game, if you look at all the numbers, it's not the recipe to win. We can't turn the ball over that much. We got to do a better job of being in gaps. Got to do a better job of rebounding. Got to do a better job all over the floor. But come May and June, it doesn't matter how you get them, just get them. So we'll take it. We'll enjoy this one tonight. But understand we got another game coming up in this tough building, and we got to be prepared for that. So, like I said, we're just a confident group. We got each other's back, and we'll give up to the clock at 0. I really don't have like the full answer. I can't tell you everything that. Yeah. So I said a lot of words, but I don't know if I said anything. But yeah, we stick with it.
All right, Vince, at first row on the left.
Right here, Tyrese. At what point tonight did you guys collectively believe that you could win this game? Was it when you were throwing the ball all over the place, but you weren't getting blown out? Was it early in the fourth quarter when you guys start to make a little bit of a run? What was the point where you were like, oh, this game is not just competitive, we can steal this game?
That's a good question. When I got off the bus, when I put on my shoes, I mean, there was never a disbelief as a group, honestly. You know, you have a half like that where you're just throwing the ball to the other team, and we like chaos, we like controlled chaos, but that was just chaos, just ugly. But I think we as a group came and said, hey, we got felt like we had 20 turnovers in the first half. We only gave up, I don't even remember how many points, I think it was 9. Yeah, that's not that bad, if you think of it that way, try to look at it glass half full. But I think as a group, we never think the game is over, ever. Honestly speaking, ever. That never creeps in. I think we just keep talking as a group is how can we walk this team down. So it's at 12 going into halftime. We talk about if we can win 1 quarter by 6, 1 quarter by 7, we'll be in a great spot. We got it to a 6-point game at the end of the third quarter, and Shea hit a 3. But we liked where we were. And then they went on a big run to start the fourth, and we just say, okay, it's at 15, let's get to 10. Well, we got it to 8, they called timeout. So we just stay with it. So this group never gives up. We never believe that the game is over until it hits 0, and that's just the God honest truth. That's just the confidence that we have as a group, and I think that's a big reason why this is going on.
Second row here on the right.
Tyrese, you guys, or your teammates, have extreme confidence in you with the game on the line because of what's happened the last couple of years. I wonder what your confidence is in Drew defensively in similar situations, guarding the MVP most of the time without much help the whole night, and you need to get a stop to have a chance to win the game.
Yeah, appreciate you for asking that question. I got the utmost confidence in him. We all do as a group. We have to. He's our guy. He's been our guy all year. If there wasn't the 65-game rule, he's an all-defensive guy. Plain and simple. So we got the most trust in him. We'll keep. Shea is the hardest guard in the NBA. He's the hardest guy to cover one-on-one in the NBA. So there's no one look we can give him. That is going to be. That's going to work every time. But we trust Drew in those situations. We're showing help as much as we can. But he's doing a lot of the dirty work. He's done a lot of the dirty work for years now, and that's his calling card in this league. And he's an elite defender. So Shea's not an easy cover by any means, but Drew is just doing an unbelievable job of. You gotta understand, Shea makes a lot of tough shots, and you can't overreact to them. You just can't, because there's no way to live that way. I think if he's gonna make those, you got to just get the ball out and go right back at him. So that's the way we look at it. And I thought Drew did a great job tonight. Aaron did a good job when Shep had to guard him. There's many situations where different guys are having to cover him. We're just trying to make it as tough as we can. The guy still finished with, what do you guys say, 38? Yeah. That's unbelievable. But I thought we just did a great job of showing bodies, and that starts with Drew and his persistence over 48 minutes. So, it's his calling card, and we got the utmost trust in him to get stops.
Last question, first row on the left.
You guys have been in crazy environments before. Your last series, this was one of them, and it's the finals. Most of you guys haven't been in this position before. Did the moment lead to any jitters? Do you think that could have been part of the turnover situation?
Yeah, for sure. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. I felt like I was a little jittery in the first quarter, getting off the ball quick, flying off ball screens with no real setup. I felt that myself, so I'll admit that I felt that way. So I'm sure other guys felt that way. This crowd is amazing. They're all standing up, doing claps and synchronized clapping to the beat before the game. This is an unbelievable crowd. It's the best crowd we've seen on the road all playoffs. And, it felt like it was just us in there, Thankful for our organization for flying, our families out, and our full-time employees all got a chance to come. And I've been shown videos of them in the concourse, and I saw them on the upper level after the game. But out there, it's so loud in there. It really just feels like it's us in there, and we just do a great job of leaning on each other, understanding that this crowd and this environment is amazing. They love basketball here, similar to how it is in Indiana. And now that we've got a game under our belt, and I thought we did a great job of responding in the second half. We didn't turn the ball over as much in the second half. That's more of a recipe for success for us in the next game. So, that's going to be a big point of emphasis, when we watch films. How can we take care of the ball more, get more shots on the rim? It puts us in a better position to win. You have 25 turnovers. You usually don't win those games. The odds probably are really low. So we just got to stick with it, stay confident as a group, and, yeah, we'll look forward to game 2.
Thank you, Tyrese.
Appreciate it.
All right, second row. We'll start here.
Hi, Miles. Guilherme Saco from ESPN Brazil. We talk about a lot about the Pacers' offense and how you guys are explosive and all. But this tonight, you only conceded 2 points in the last 2 minutes. How proud are you of the defensive effort in the last minutes of the team?
You know, our defense is something that we decided to hang our hat on about 1.5 years ago. You know, we knew we had to, if we ever wanted to be on this stage, it's something we had to tune up. So I think we did a good job in the last closing moments, but we still got a lot of work to do. And, you know, even myself, I know I made a lot of mistakes tonight. But, you know, that's the beauty of being on the stage. You know, once you make a mistake, you got to move right on because, you know, it's just the game just moves so fast.
Last row.
Hey, Miles. Derek Kramer, iPacers.com. Can you just tell me about the importance of Obi Toppin in this game? 17 points off the bench, 5 threes.
Man, it's just his confidence never shook. You know, he started the game off with like 2 or 3 turnovers and whatnot, and he was able to make an impact. You know, I think he started hit a couple threes right after that. Defensively, he was moving his feet. He's able to get out and run. So, you know, he's someone that's very important, you know, to our system. But I think it was a huge confidence boost for him, you know, especially, you know, game 1.
Right here in the first row on the right.
Steve Ashburner, NBA.com. Knowing what you knew about Oklahoma City coming in and their defense and their propensity to force turnovers, by the end of that first half, were you guys disappointed in yourselves, more stunned at how that had gone in giving up the ball?
Absolutely not. You just said it. We knew what this team was. I think that on this stage, you know, you don't have time to be stunned. You know, you don't have time to be disappointed. Again, you have to move on. We came in there knowing that we can be better. And, you know, again, it's probably historically bad. I'm not sure what the record is, but, you know, we weathered the storm. You know, we were resilient and, you know, we were able to find a way to win in the end.
First row here on the left. Tim.
Thank you. Miles, some guys might get one of those shots in a lifetime. Ty's had 4 in these playoffs in the last 1.4 or whatever. What's it been like to witness, and how do you explain it as somebody who's seen a lot in this league, what he does in that moment?
Ultimate confidence in himself. And that is so, some players will say they have it, but there's other players that show it. And, you know, he's going to let you know about it too. You know, that's one of the things I respect about him. You know, he's just he's a baller, man. He's a hooper. He's just really just a gamer. You know, when it comes to them moments, like, he wants the ball. He wants to be the one to, you know, hit that shot. You know, he doesn't shy away from the moment. And very important this time of the year, you know, to have a go-to guy. And he just seems to keep finding a way. And we keep getting the ball in the right positions. And, you know, just the rest is history.
Right in the middle.
Miles, Minor Castillo desde la cancha. Would you like to have more touches in the low post, like a traditional pivot for the game 2?
I think for the way our offense is structured, you know, it's 0.5 seconds. You know, you see it, you have a decision, you try to make a decision. If you're not, you come off it. So, you know, of course, I'm be down there battling and whatnot, but I also know that, you know, when I'm facing the ball, there's 2 guys behind me at times, you know, so I'm not seeing it's there. So I'm very patient with our offense. You know, I think, you know, the only thing I said was just stop throwing me bounce passes because, you know, that's the only place, you know, these guards can get the ball. So outside of that, nah, man, I think our team did a good job of making reads tonight, and we continue to keep, you know, rolling.
Last row.
Miles, Andrew Greif for the NBC News. You kind of mentioned earlier that you guys felt like after 19 first-half turnovers, something changed, and it wasn't maybe dramatic, but can you be a little more specific about to go from 19 in the first half to only 2 in the third quarter? Was there something you felt like you guys as a team did better at stopping what Oklahoma City was doing with the physicality, or how do you explain just the difference there?
Just valuing possessions. You know, I think that obviously this time of the year is so important. You know that this is a 1-point game tonight, so those possessions matter so much. You know, I think our biggest thing is our response. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we know things are gonna go bad at times, things are gonna go good, but you got to be even killed. Just kaizen, just calm waters. You know what I mean? You just to answer your question, I think that we just knew we had to value the ball a lot more. We started to put two hands, 2 eyes on the ball, whoever passing it, started to keep the ball high. Just all the elementary stuff. You know, sometimes that's what it's about in this game, is going back to fundamentals. So, yeah, chin on the ball, little stuff like that.
Second row in the middle.
Jordan Davis with Oklahoma. And Miles,
obviously had some struggles in there in the first half, but then in the second half, hit 2 big threes, late down the stretch in the fourth quarter. I mean, what was kind of the keys to get you going that whole second half on both ends of the floor? And obviously, what was your biggest takeaway from what you were able to do there?
Confidence. Supreme confidence in myself. I've worked my entire life to get to this stage, so there's no holding back. When I saw opportunities, I was going to be as aggressive as possible, and I was able to hit 2 big shots, or whatever you want to call it. It's just supreme confidence in myself.
Second row here on the right.
Miles, you guys never get too high, never get too low. How much of that comes from Rick, and just where does that mentality come from?
A lot of it does come from Rick. He instills it in us. I think he's one of the better coach. He's not like a rah-rah guy, but like his speeches and stuff, just his preparation, gets us in tune. I think I like his overall mentality, when it comes to getting us prepared for moments like such. And, that's what this time of the year is about. Someone who's actually been there before, 6 times to be exact.
First row here in the middle.
Brad Parker, The Score. Miles, you put out that tweet nearly 12 years ago to the day saying, what if the Pacers win?
Yeah.
How does it feel you're 3 games away from potentially, being correct with that tweet?
You're one step closer. It's a funny thing, when stuff like that happens. I remember I was watching that series against it was against the Heat and whatnot, and they were playing really well, and they were my favorite team in 2K at the time. So I wanted it for them, but we have a lot of work to do, man. Again, we're one step closer. It feels good to get the first one underneath your belt because now you have a baseline, you can make adjustments, and do what you got to do.
Over here on the right.
Miles, I know you all have supreme confidence whenever Ty gets the ball late game situations. How similar is your confidence when Drew's guarding the MVP one-on-one with no help with the game on the line?
Yeah, it helps that they're Canadian teammates. So, I think that Drew has probably seen a little bit of what, Shea can do. And at the end of the day, man, we have, again, just ultimate confidence to go out there and just, be him and hit a big shot, had a big stop, and, he's continuing to put himself on the map.
Thanks, Miles.
Sits back there. What you got?
Hey, Valencia King, Real Talk Sports, appreciate your time. So you've mentioned your confidence and you mentioned the defense on this team, and I won't take you back too far, but do you remember when you fell in love with being a defensive player? Because we've seen it throughout your whole career.
Yeah, man, my pops, he always told me that's what you're going to be able to make your bread and butter on. Is he saw an elite timing. Back when I played YMCA basketball. When they give you like those wristbands, you have to be with someone. What the other team would do is have their kids stand at half court, so I had to stand with him, and it used to frustrate the hell out of me. But from that moment on, he was like, "Yo, listen, man, this is what you're going to make your mark off of." And timing. I think shot blocking is it's something that's it's innate, it's given. I don't think you can really learn it. It's just either you have it or you don't. So. Yeah, I think I really fell in love with defense really back in the YMCA days, just seeing how much of an imprint I was leaving on the game. And, my dad just spoke a lot into existence.
Thanks, Miles.
All right, thank you.
Hi, Alena from NBA Brazil. So big change from first half to second half. Can you take me through the messages that were sent in the locker room, and did somebody step up to keep you guys going?
Well, obviously, we know we turned the ball over way too much. It's just not who we are. But, I mean, credit to the defense. They, just on another level in terms of just disrupting the game and make you make mistakes and stuff. So we got to take care of the ball. And I think in the second half, we just kind of did a better job of just taking care of the ball a little bit. And again, they made some tough plays, and we just kept going. We like I said, we always know that we have a chance. So as long as we just keep playing. But they played so good and just in defensively, and they're such a tough team for sure.
Second row, fourth chair in from the right.
Pascal, Guilherme Saco from ESPN Brazil. This is one of the loudest arenas in NBA, but sometimes in the fourth quarter we could hear "Go Pacers, go!" and they chant in defense when you guys were defending. How much does it mean to know that even when in one of the loudest arenas in NBA, you still have the Pacers faithful here and you can hear them?
Yeah, that was huge. Shout out to those guys, man. Just they're so passionate about us, and we're so blessed to have them as fans, and all the people that were here just cheering us on, and in such a tough environment. But yeah, shout out to them. We're gonna need their support, obviously here, and then also when we are home.
Second row to the left, Joe.
Hey, Pascal, you guys have had so many comebacks in this postseason, and it's a number of different ways, but Was there anything to tonight? You know, you're turning the ball over 19 times in the first half, but you weren't really down by, I think it was only 12. Was there a realization that you were still close despite those turnovers, and did that give you a little confidence?
I mean, obviously, I think when you turn the ball that much, you know, you expect to be down 20 plus. So the fact that we were still in the game, just for us is just, again, we know that we keep it within distance, continue to play, stick to the game plan, and take care of the turnovers, which is hard against a team like that, especially with the pace we play with. So we gotta do so much better. Like we know in year where we need to be in terms of just offense and some of the things that we need to do and how we want to play. So we got a lot of work to do. We got to get back and get better.
That you guys can throw on a guy like Shea and like you're not overly helping, you're not nothing.
It's huge, man. I've said it before. I thought he got snubbed for all-team defense. I think he's more than deserving. He should have got it, and he's going to continue to show why he should be on it next year.
When did the belief start? When I don't even know if it's that Knicks game one, but when did you guys start feeling like you always come back?
I would say the belief was in the regular season. I mean, we finished the regular season with a lot of close games and a lot of games we were down and put ourselves in bad position. So, and honestly, we just looked at that as practice, like practice to get better for these moments, and you know, they're paying off.
So in the fourth quarter, when you're down like that, what's the move? What's the tone?
Fight for one another. Give 1% more for the guy next to you. If we all do that, you know, the results will show.
Aaron, I wanted to ask about Lloyd and just sort of the influence he's had on this roster, especially
He's been around for a long time. He's personally my guy. So, I mean, LP is just his IQ, what he means to his team. When he talks, we listen. So, yeah, he's a huge influence.
He talks a lot about communication being a big part of his coaching philosophy, and just what are some things that he's communicated to you guys about staying calm in some of these clutch moments?
I would say calm is the word. I think his presence is a very calming presence. When he speaks and every guy's moving a little bit quick, he does a really good job of bringing people back down and keeping people in the moment. So, yeah, that's actually a good word I'd use to describe LP. Yeah.
Aaron, sorry if we're starting to recycle a couple questions here, but to be able to get what you guys have been able to do, game one on the road the last few series now, how important is that just to get it out of the way, take home court advantage back?
I mean, that was our goal coming in here. We were able to accomplish that, and I think, you know, it puts a little pressure on them. And, you know, the way that we played today, we just could be so much better going into game two.
I was going to ask that. So you had the 19 first-half turnovers. The message at halftime coming into the second half, is it more so you guys dialing down, or was it maybe exposing a little bit more of what they were doing?
It was us. I mean, take care of the ball. Stop making stupid plays, myself included. So, you know, we're better, and, you know, we're going to have to be better in this game two. That's not going to cut it for game two.
We talked all week leading up to this just about being in this moment, the experience of the NBA Finals. What was it like to get out there and experience it firsthand once that ball was tipped?
To be honest with you, I mean, it's just basketball. Like, I didn't feel like it was any bigger stage. Like, I just felt like we were playing, we were hooping, and when you look at the game like that, all the other stuff is extra, and we just got to worry about us.
Was Haliburton supposed to get the ball in his hands there for that last shot? And was Haliburton?
Of course. I mean, he's our guy, you know. When I got that rebound at the end of the game, I was looking for him or P. P was there. I gave it to him. P found Tyrese. You know, the rest is history.
Do you guys do, like, shooting contests or anything?
Nah, but we all know who's going to win that.
Is it frustrating?
Is it frustrating?
Yeah.
For what?
To have to hang around with that guy.
Oh, no, it's a blessing, man. He's a ridiculous guy.
You know what I mean, at the end of practice and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
He's like a ringer.
Yeah.
Right?
Aaron, your thoughts on just the resiliency of this team and just how you guys, there's no quit. Talk about that for me, just how you guys, I'm sure you believe inside yourself that you guys can get this done.
Just constant belief. We just always believe. And, you know, I said it earlier, any hole that we dig ourselves in, you know, we dug it ourselves so we can dig our way out of it.
Feels like Groundhog's Day pretty much every single week. Moments and thoughts again at the end of this one.
Obviously, happy about the win, but got to move on. A lot of work left to do. Good win, but you know they're going to make their adjustments, and we've got to make ours, and we've got to come out ready to play in game two.
What is it about this team in these moments, late in the games, fourth quarter down double digits, just to rally like you guys do?
I think it's, you know, it says a lot about our group that we play to the final buzzer, and we got to continue to do that. We don't quit. resilient group, and that's been our calling card throughout the playoffs, and we got to continue to do it.
19 first half turnovers. A lot, but you guys are still in the game, no matter what throughout that. So what's the message at halftime to finish it out, knowing that maybe the first half was a little more on you guys, or was it a little more on them?
I think the message was just take care of the ball. They're gonna create some turnovers. We're gonna play fast, so turnovers are gonna happen. We just got to limit the bad ones, especially in the second half. When at the live ball turnover on the out of bounds play, we got to eliminate stuff like that, and that's on me. And just got to be better in that area.
What was it just, I know we talked about it leading up to today, but being in this situation, this experience, what was it like once that ball was tipped and you were in the middle of it?
It's a crazy experience for a lot of us, being in our first NBA Finals. But as the game went on, we started to settle in and get more comfortable, and got the first game nerves out of the way. And like I said, we got to watch what we did poorly and adjust.
You've done it the last 2 series. Take the first game on the road, you will move on to the game 2 now. How crucial is it to get that one out of the way on the road, like you guys do?
Yeah, anytime you can win in the playoffs on the road, winning period is tough in the playoffs, but to do it on the road is difficult. So we're obviously happy to get this one, but not satisfied. I know we've got a lot left to do, like I said.
We trust Ty with a lot, so put the ball in his hand, he'll do spectacular things. Dang, who did this? That was it?
What'd you have going
tonight? My bad. Here we go.
You guys have done this throughout the postseason. Down, battle back. Take us through how in the world you win this game as difficult as you guys played in that first half.
We stay with it. Like you said, we've been in positions like this throughout the whole season, not only in the playoffs, and we feel normal in it. We know what we got to do, who we got to give the ball to, and just watch magic happen. That's it. So that's what happened at the end of the game.
How comfortable did you guys feel in those small lineups toward the end? It just seemed like once you went to those small lineups, you were really cooking offensively.
It wasn't the first time we did it. Obviously, we've practiced that all year. So we feel comfortable playing with all the guys on our team. We've been playing with each other for a while now. So we just go out there and do our job to the best of our ability.
Fans have been amazed by what they're seeing from the outside, but on the inside, are you amazed at what this team has done time after time?
Nah, like I said, it's normal for us. We just go out there, have fun. I know you guys see it. We play with a lot of joy. We all love each other, so we go out there, have fun, and get the job done.
What was this locker room like tonight?
What was the locker room like?
Right.
Before or after?
10 minutes after this game.
We wasn't celebrating. We still got 3 more to go. We all came in serious. Obviously, everybody said good game, but like I said, we got 3 more, and we got to still get the job done.
Is there still a little underdog mentality, knowing that everybody is picked against you once again?
Yeah, that's been our thing the whole year. Even at the beginning of the playoffs, everybody got the other team winning every single game. We just go out there and always do what we do.
Was there a moment when you felt like, man, I think we can get back in this game. I think we can win this.
I never say think. I feel like we can win every single game. If we lose a game, it's really our fault and mistakes. First half, we had like 20 turnovers, 19 turnovers. That was all us, and we was only down 10 points. Obviously, we got to work on some things, but we living in the moment. We got to win in the finals, and we got 3 more to go.
To see where your game is kind of transformed now, hitting these clutch three-pointers, what kind of goes through your mind?
Play basketball. I've worked my whole life to be in the position I'm in right now, and got great people around me who trust me, as well as me trusting them. So just go out there and just play basketball.
Right then and there, and we did that. I feel like we did a great job going in the second half, bringing the fight, cutting the turnovers down, and a rebounding margin down, and it helped us win.
What is it about this team's will that you just feel like you're never out of it?
We always feel like we're never out of it, man. We have a strong, very confident team on this team, man. And, when you go down the line of everybody believing, it helps a lot with our confidence out there, especially on the road. And we have the belief system and the veterans on this team, and mention Pascal, who's a NBA champion, who's been there before. That helps a lot. Understanding a guy that's been there, gone through this stuff before, and it can help us in these times.
What was your view on Ty's shot, and any doubt in your mind that was going in?
No doubt at all, man. Like, Ty's been doing this for years, and Ty's been doing this throughout the playoffs, throughout round 1, round 2, round 3, all the way to the finals, man. So, we have the full confidence when, Ty has the ball, Drew has the ball, P has the ball. We have confidence in those three to make those plays and make those shots throughout the end of the games.
What was the mood?
19 turnovers in the first half. You guys play Pacer basketball the same style religiously. What is sustainable from what you saw in the second half, making that comeback that can kind of carry over into game 2?
I feel like the corrections that we made in going into the second half can carry over into game 2, with the turnovers and rebounding margins going down, and just staying a collective unit out there. We know it's a loud, crazy arena out there. Those fan bases is one of the most electrifying ones that I've ever seen throughout my years in the league, man. So we have to keep our poise throughout that time. And when they make runs, we just have to maintain our poise and just keep going, and keep fighting.
I know a lot of fans back in Indianapolis are saying, we've seen this before, and here you guys do it in an environment like this. Take us through how in the world you win this game after how as bad as you guys struggled in that first half.
No, we kept fighting. We knew that we played bad in that first half. We came in at halftime and talked to each other about it and wanted to make those corrections going into the start of the second half, man. And I feel like we did a great job, of cutting those mistakes that we did in the first half down in the second half. And, there's a lot of things that we can improve on, going into game 2. And I feel like we're aware of that. We'll watch the film tomorrow, and we'll make sure that we make those corrections going into game 2.
And to do it against a team that's only had one loss here in the postseason, what does that say about the resiliency of this basketball team?
It's a strong, resilient team that we have right here. But we both know that this is just one game. This is one game, and we can't really hang our heads on just one game right now. We have to, enjoy this one. We're human. We're going to enjoy this one, but also going into tomorrow, we have to look forward into game 2 and correct those mistakes that we did in those first half and make sure it doesn't happen again in going into game 2.
You guys have taken game 1 on the road in each of the last 3 series. You know the experience of it. How important is it to get that one out of the way and take home court back?
I feel like it's really big. I feel like it's really big out there. Going on the road is very hard. It's very hard to win on the road, man, and especially against a dominant OKC team that we just played, man. They have a lot of firepower, man, and to get that game, it builds a lot of confidence for us. Going into game 2, we know it's not done. It's far from done, and we know that we're going to get their best shot again going into game 2, man. So we have to be prepared for that. But it gives us a great confidence level, great belief level, and gives us an extra. I wouldn't say happiness, but an extra little bit of juice of knowing that we accomplished something. We can do it. We can try and do it again.
I don't know what else you can say than what the Pacers just said right there after a Game 1 win, 111-110. Haliburton, the hero, and here to talk about it with Eli Gate and myself would be Tony East of Locked On Pacers. Tony, we were talking off camera. What else can you say? This has happened 4 times now. Just your initial reaction after Haliburton and these Pacers do it again on the biggest stage.
It gets to the point where you expect it, right? They get it to 6, and I think they're gonna do it again. They just never quit in moments where I feel like other teams would, in moments where you think, it's over, they don't have a chance. They always keep coming at you. They're going to go to the basket. They're going to score. They're going to have someone make a miracle 3. Today it was Andrew Nembhard, shaking past Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Tyrese Haliburton in the last second. It's come to the point where at a shot that many in the league would deem it too big of a moment or too difficult, I expect it to go in because he's done it so many times in the last month.
No question about it.
Yeah, and you mentioned before we got on here is each series when this happens, it's errors that the other team makes, and the Pacers just take advantage of those. That wasn't the case here this evening. This was stolen strictly by the Pacers. The Thunder played a great game.
Yeah, the shot making for the Pacers was perfect when it had to be, right? The Thunder were not turning it over late. They didn't miss a bunch of free throws or have any calamity that make their crowd go, oh no, here it comes, like every other series. It was just this slow burn of here come the Pacers, here comes the thing they're gonna do, and they made the shot and they made the shot and it's remarkable the extent to which they never quit, where they have to make every shot to win and they do it. And I don't know how you walk away from this game feeling as the Thunder. They weren't winning the entire game until 0.3 seconds left, but that's how the Pacers do it, apparently.
The first half, the Pacers couldn't have played poor. It was unbelievable. 19 turnovers in that first half, 25 on the game. What is the biggest thing that you saw difference from first half to second half, and maybe not just the entire second half, but that fourth quarter in particular, down 15 with 9 minutes to go to winning the game and overcoming as bad as you've played this entire postseason?
That was part of it, is cutting out those turnovers. It's funny to say this because every team that plays the Thunder says we can't turn the ball over. Guess what they do? They turn it over. That's what the Thunder are good at. But I thought Tyrese Haliburton just kind of described it perfectly. It was kind of an element of settling in. Right. Every quarter their margin got better, -8 I think, and then -3, and then plus a little, and then plus a lot to win it. They just kind of figured out slowly but surely throughout the game what the Thunder were throwing at them from a challenge perspective, what they needed to do, what lineup needed to be on the floor. You saw Rick Carlisle be really quick to go small the second the Thunder did in that fourth quarter, gets Obi Toppin in the game from Miles Turner. Right? They just kind of figured out what the challenges were and how they needed to solve them, and I thought that was part of their comfortability with the series and with their opponent. So I think the turnovers are the biggest thing, and they're going to tell us, and they just did. We still have to be a lot better than we were in this game, but they're also right that they got more comfortable and did kind of problem solve throughout the game. That's what makes them so good.
Yeah. And also now, so here it is, 3 straight series where they've won the first game on the road in these hostile environments. You can assume what they think about it and how it's just another game. It's what we do. But I can't really describe like how they're actually feeling and what that does for a confidence level and what it does heading into Game 2 now, because they've won Game 2 in each of the past series on the road as well.
They're up 2-0 in every series this whole playoffs. I mean, the way they've been starting is remarkable, especially as, like you're saying, they start going on the road, and then the opponent gets tougher, and then it's an MSG, and now it's the NBA Finals against a 68-win team. Like, it just keeps getting more difficult, and you think, no way, they're going to do it again, and they do. They've only lost twice on the road this whole playoffs, and one of them was the very first game they played on the road. Like, they're not afraid of these kind of moments, and you wonder today, like, eventually it hits every player on the team. Oh, it's the finals. Like, they walk on the court, there's 1,000 people like us, cameras everywhere, microphones everywhere, the shirts, the loudness, the logos in the hallways. Yeah, at some point it hits you like, oh my gosh, I'm about to play in the finals. And so you have to fight through that part of it as well. And so they can say all they want about, like, just another game. It's not, right? It's not. You can see it in the way they play. You can see it in the way they react to it. And they fought through that today, too.
The Paycom Center, quite literally the best environment I think I've ever been a part of. To get a win here in that fashion, unbelievable for the Pacers heading into Game 2. I think this is kind of a softball question. Obviously, cut down on turnovers, right? Settle into the game maybe a little bit quicker. But to win that game in the NBA Finals, now you have a couple days to think about it. You got your confidence has got to be high because you know you can play so much better than you did in this game going into Game 2 for this young, inexperienced team. I'll tell you what, Rick Carlisle definitely showcased his coaching ability in this game.
That's one thing they talked about as being a beacon of hope for them, right? Carlisle's done this underdog thing in the finals before, and I always wonder going into these games after something like that happens, how the Thunder feel. I feel like they played 47.95 minutes of great basketball, and they lost, right? They got to be even better. It's just remarkable how much the mental dynamics of games like this go. But yeah, the Pacers will know that they have to be better because they were losing for 47.95 minutes of this game. They've got a lot to clean up on, even beyond the turnovers. They were sloppy in a lot of ways. Their defense in the second half to start it was not particularly good. Like, they've got ways to improve, but they've also never been trailing in a series this entire postseason. If they can go up 2-0, they'll feel great going back to Indy.
Jeez, you got to be kidding me. Once again, snatching a victory from the jaws of defeat. That's kind of been the theme, right? Our camera guy Josh behind here. I've said that probably 3 or 4 times for every road trip that we've taken, and yeah, here we are again, fellas. 1-0 series lead. NBA Finals this time. How about that?
Unbelievable. All right, Tony East, thanks so much for joining us, sir. Always a pleasure to hear insight. For Eli Gain, I'm Dominic Miranda. We'll have much more coverage of this NBA Finals, man. The Pacers get it done. 1-0 series lead over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Game 2 on Sunday. That'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern. We'll be right back here and give you all the coverage. Keep up on Channel 13 and on WTHR+. We'll see you then.